special Friday birthday. This is a special Friday. Did you guys know this was my birthday weekend coming up? So here at Remar Review, my staff, I came into the office. They have balloons for me. Look what they got me. They got me these beautiful flowers. I don't deserve any of this stuff. They are so good to me. They got me chocolate and a very, very hilarious card. So I'm just enjoying the birthday celebrations have begun. But of course, we're all about you around here. So we're doing a special live edition. Hello, Richard. And I just need, for my Remar nurses, tell me where you're from. We're actually doing a Remar Nurse Spotlight. And we have done a Remar Nurse Spotlight. Hi, Ambi. We've done Remar Nurse Spotlights in the past. And I am super excited to bring Nurse Shawnee to you guys today. She has an amazing story. And I'm telling you, if you felt like you needed motivation today, wait till you hear Nurse Shawnee's testimonial. Wait till you hear about her test date. I mean, like when she actually woke up in the morning to take NCLEX. Oh my goodness. If you guys don't have her mindset, you're not ready for NCLEX. You're not ready. Hello, Philadelphia is in the house. Fort Lauderdale is in the house. Okay. Virginia is here as well. Thank you, Trinidad and Tobago. I want to visit you soon. I am getting ready to go to Jamaica. I'll be in Jamaica on Sunday, getting ready for that Nurse Success Summit. It's going to be good. It's going to be so good. So actually, Nurse Shawnee's from Jamaica, so she's representing our Jamaican nurses here. Remar Review, you guys know we have a worldwide family. We have literally nurses from every continent studying with us. Maryland in the house. Thank you, Ricole. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes. Okay, so we got testimonial, pop-up testimonial. Nurse Agina says, hello from Oregon. I passed my RN NCLEX because of Remar content. Amazing. All right, we got Brooklyn. Okay, so again, guys, this is a special Remar Nurse Spotlight. We love getting the nursing testimonials. The videos are coming in for the Remar nurses, but we really appreciate the Remar nurses who are saying, hey, I want to definitely tell the Remar nurses that it's possible. You guys don't know my story, but I'm willing to share it with the community to inspire and motivate. So I know that Nurse Shawnee is going to motivate and inspire thousands who will watch this video. So we appreciate you guys for being here. So without further ado, I want you guys to say hello. Say hello to Nurse Shawn. Say her Nurse Shawnee. And hi, how are you?
Hi.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure.
Okay. So the Remar nurses may have questions to ask you, but I wanted to bring you up here because your NCLEX journey is so unbelievable. I mean, it really is. So for the next couple minutes, I just want you to just speak to the nurses and let them know where you came from, but also how good it feels to be on the other side of having your license.
Well, first of all, it is a wonderful feeling. It is a stress-free feeling. Oh my gosh. When I found out I passed, I put some clothes on and ran out the house. I didn't know where I was going, but I said, I'm going to find some place and treat myself, but I got to get out the house. It is a wonderful feeling.
I understand. Okay, so talk to us. Okay, we're going to get to know you. We're just going to get to know you, where you come from. So when did you graduate? Where are you from?
I'm from Jamaica. I'm from St. Elizabeth, Jamaica.
Okay. And where did you go to nursing school?
I graduated from Breckenridge School of Nursing at ITT Technical in December of 2013.
Okay. So you're a 2013 graduate.
Yes.
Now, tell me, how did you prepare for NCLEX your first time?
So our school did advise us. I took a local in Cleveland here, a local review class, and that was about for 3 months, and it was like a lot of information and just pounding. It was like nursing school plus one, and we had to do tests, we had to do quizzes, and it was just a lot working and doing that over again. So it was like a lot of information.
Okay, so are we talking about RN or PN?
RN.
Okay, we're talking about RN. So you were going to nursing school, you were studying for NCLEX while you were working?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so 3 months is a long time. It is a long time. So when you took your NCLEX the first time, how did it go?
So I took it, the first time I said, I got to, get a better job. I have to have a better life. So I have to get out of this class because it's a lot of information. And this is why nursing school all over again. And I said, I have to go take the exam. So I went and took the exam and I failed. Oh. So after that, I said, okay, I have a lot of information from this class. There's no point in me getting back. And even for me to get back, I have to pay again. And that was like $500. So I tried Kaplan the second time around. And that was like about 6 days of classroom. And I took it that second time with Kaplan and I failed.
Ooh.
So there was a third time around where I said, I'm just going to use the information from Kaplan and the information from the class I did and combine those together and study. And I did that for a couple months to study, took the exam again, and I failed.
So what do you think was happening?
It was a lot of information because we were told we have to know all. One of the things that I learned from REMAR was going in the exam, knowing that you don't know everything. Mm-hmm. And this was the problem. I'm going in thinking, I have to know all this. I have to know all this information. So that was one of the things. Whenever something comes up and I didn't know, I got real scared because like, how come I didn't know this and I have all this information? So
exactly. So it was a mixture of, it was a mixture of feeling like you had been preparing, but when you actually took the exam, if you saw something, it kind of threw you off track.
Right.
So common. So you had taken NCLEX 3 times. Why did you, what were you doing while you were studying? Like in your mind, did you have the mindset where, okay, even if I fail, I'm going to try this again? Or were you getting discouraged? Like, maybe this isn't for me, because a lot of students, I think they struggle with that. They're failing the exam and then they start to question, is nursing what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, how did you feel during all these periods of not passing your exam?
Failing the third time, I wanted to give up. And I was questioning God. I was questioning myself. Like, how come I'm not passing? Because I studied, and I even questioned God, like, why? And one of the things, I kind of got discouraged for a minute because I was going to try another local program. But when myself and another classmate contacted the program, we were told, if you have graduated over a year, if you had tested before and failed, it's $3,000.
Whoa!
Yes, that's what we were told. So I was like, forget it.
No. So $3,000. How much money did you spend before you found REMAR? What'd you say?
I spent about over $1,500.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. How did you find REMAR Review?
Okay, so I wasn't looking for a REMAR review. I never heard about REMAR. So, one of my cousin in Toronto, she kept calling me, pounding me, texting me like, join Facebook. There are study groups. There is this person there. The new hire at her job kept telling her, try this person. So I finally signed up for Facebook last August, Went on one night about 3 o'clock in the morning. I was at work, and I every time I typed this person's name, Remar popped up. So I called her. I said, "You ever heard about this Remar? Because I never heard about it." And I said, "But every time I go on, this Remar would pop up." So I said, "I'm gonna send an email to Remar and to this other person and see who get back in touch with me."
Wait a minute, wait a minute. So you were looking for somebody else, but
Yes.
then Remar kept popping up. So you did a split test, and you said, I'm gonna email the other person. I'm gonna email Remar, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So then the very next morning, like about before 10 o'clock, I got an email from Remar. And to this date, I still haven't got an email response from the other person. But I got an email and I just said, well, this must be the way the Lord want me to go. I'm just going to go with it.
That is too funny. Okay, so now we can get into your testimony, your NCLEX experience. So what program did you choose for Remar?
When I got a response from Remar, I responded back and I told them my situation, how long I've been out of school, how many times I've tested, and what do they suggest is the best way for me. And I was told the DVD self-study package. And I kind of hesitated at first because I said, I probably need more than a self-study because I've been out of school since 2013. But they told me, no, we're confident with the DVD self-study package. So I said, I'm just going to get it for my birthday, which I did.
So you actually, I like your testimonial because you said, I'm probably not going to do nothing for my birthday, so I'm going to get this for myself. And it was your gift to yourself.
Yes, it was.
I love that. So talk about studying, because you've tested 3 times now. You have the DVD self-study program, and you're like, I'm not sure if this is right for me. I'm not sure if this is going to work. Talk about that.
So at first, when I got the package, I opened it. I looked through it to see, what's all in it, and go over. I started watching other people's testimony about it, and they were saying the quick facts should be your Bible. So I started reading quick facts, but then I went off to work for a month. Then on November 1st, I decided that day. I said, I'm not going to get comfortable until I pass. I'm not going to sleep in my bed. I'm just going to sleep on the sofa, sleep on the floor with the books beside me. Because if I get in bed, I'm going to get comfortable and go to sleep. And there is no room for comfort right now, not having my license. So I just decided this is what I'm going to do until I pass.
Yes, listen, your testimony is so good because you positioned yourself for success. Like you said, this is an uncomfortable process. So I'm going to be uncomfortable so that I can get out of here quickly. When I was listening to your testimony last night, it got so good. I got my Remar blanket. I put it around me. I went and got some brownies, and girl, I was into your testimony. You have no idea. I loved it. I literally loved it. So, talk to me about, that process with the studying and the work. Like, what did your days look like when you were studying?
Ooh, it was a challenge because, okay, so listen to this. When I was doing home care at nights, so I would get home in the morning around 9 o'clock, take a shower, get 3 hours of sleep, then get up and start studying until it's time to go back to work. Before I started studying, at work at nights, I used to have time where I could be on my phone, I could read a book. As soon as I started studying for NCLEX, that cut out. I couldn't, as soon as I took out a flashcard, so I took out my quick facts, it was over. I could no longer study at work. They made it so to the point where no studying was allowed. Wow. I said, really? I said, before I could read my book, I could be on my phone, I could be on my computer. And as soon as I started studying, I said, but it's all right. So I would work all night, 12 hours, would get home, get 3 hours of sleep, started studying until it's time to go back to work. And I would do that every day from November 1st.
That is amazing. So when did you actually test?
So I tested February 1st because, like I said in my testimony, I had listened to myth about the test would be easier in New York or Florida. When I failed the third time, I had friends who told me, oh, try New York, try Florida, because it would be easier. And it's not, it's the same tests. What made a difference this time is the content that I got from Remar, but it was the same test. So I had paid for the exam in New York State, in Buffalo. So when I went on in January to set the test date, the only day they had available was February 1st at 8 in the morning. So I said, there was one at February 26th, and I said, no, I'm not waiting any longer. I'm going to do it on the 1st.
Oh, so when you scheduled your test, did you feel ready, or did you still have some hesitation, or did you say, you know what, I'm just going for it, believing that when the day comes, I will be prepared?
I felt ready. I felt ready because what I had done after I had gone through all the DVDs and all the books, and I had gone through them twice. No, the first time I went through them, what I did the second time after going through, I said, I'm not going to look at the answers. I'm not going to look at so I'm just going to go through it and answer the questions myself. And anything I don't remember, I would write it down on a flashcard and study what I don't remember. So the third time around, I went through that last 2 weeks before the test. I just went through everything again, and I was knowing everything. So I said, well, I'm ready.
Okay, so I do want to talk about your actual testing, but tell me, did you use any other programs during your studying? Like what did you combine Remar with?
It was just all Remar. And of course, going on the study groups, I would see people talk about UWorld, Mark, different programs. And I got tempted sometimes to go look and see what those programs are about. But then I saw people start saying, well, in Remar, it says the answer for this question is this, but then UWorld or somebody else is saying something different. And I said, that's complicated. That's going to make me confused. So I said, no, I'm not going to try anything. I'm just going to stick with Remar all the way.
Wow. So, point, and I hope you guys are listening too, because when you study from a lot of resources, you are going to find yourself struggling to know, okay, where do I have a definitive stand on this particular issue, whatever it is. So know that when you're trying to combine, because I see it too in the study groups, I see people say, I'm using Saunders, I'm using this question bank, I'm using that. And then, they send me questions and ask me to make sense of it all. And it's so hard to do. It's so hard to do.
Right.
So you did the 6-week challenge, you're studying, you're working full time, you're not able to study at work. So literally you're sleeping on the couch, studying, right?
Working 60 hours a week.
Oh my goodness. I hope you guys are listening to this testimony, because whatever you're going through, I'm telling you, Nurse Shawnee has been there. So let's dive into your test date. So you're in Ohio, but you have to go to Buffalo, New York to test.
Yes. So
talk to me about that process.
I didn't know when I set the test date that we were going to have, that week, that cold temperature below zero and all that snow. And Buffalo was worse, 2 times worse than Cleveland. So I got up there the Tuesday before I test. I got up there Tuesday morning, which was a good thing, because after that 12 o'clock, you could see nothing outside for 2 days. It was just all white out. And schools were out that week. The temperatures, one day I got up, it was 15 below. Another day was 7 below. So I finally made it outside to go find the location where I was going to test. And I said, okay, it's 5 miles from where I'm staying. I can get there. So the morning of the exam, the night before, like I said, I was okay. The Thursday morning, I was fine. I said, I'm just going to relax. I'm not going to study anything. But that evening, like about 6 o'clock, I don't know where that anxiety came over me and just started shaking me. So I didn't know what to do. So that's when I went on to say, let me look at boot camp again. And that's when someone named Maureen came on and, gave me the link to your anxiety lecture. and I watched it, and then listen, Mark prayed, and I closed my eyes, and prayer changed things. And sometimes we don't believe it unless we see it for ourselves. But that prayer did change my anxiety because it was all gone. After he finished praying, I just shut that computer down and just went to bed.
Okay, so why did you test in New York if you were in Ohio? Oh, hold on one second. Oh, let's see. Hold on 1 second. Yeah.
Hello.
Gosh, I don't think she can hear me. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Why did you test in New York if you were in Ohio? Why did you make that drive?
Because I listened to the myth of my friends in the past who told me that the exam is easier in New York and Florida.
Oh my goodness.
That let me tell you all, that's a myth. It's the same exam. It's the same exam. What will make the difference is knowing the content.
Right. So the morning that you got up, it was, oh wait, no, let me go back to this. So the day before your exam, you said that you were feeling a lot of anxiety. Is that how you
that
felt?
evening. Yes, that evening. The day was fine. Is that evening, as I get closer towards the evening, like 5, 6 o'clock, I began to shake, like anxiety took over.
Wow.
And I didn't know what to do. So I went online and said, let me watch boot camp again. Maybe that would help me. That's when Maureen came on and started talking to me. And she
wait, who's Maureen? Who's Maureen?
She has to work with you.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So you got you said you watched boot camp, but you went to the Remar Nurse website and you chatted with somebody.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
And her name was Maureen, and on the Remar website, from your company, and she, told me, she asked me, have you watched Regina's lecture on anxiety? And I told her no, and she sent me the link, and I said, thank you, I'm going to watch it right now. Mm-hmm. And I went on to watch it, but it was a prayer after that Mark prayed that actually helped me. Yeah. And like I was saying before, prayer does change things. If anyone don't believe that, because it did change that, because all my anxiety just went away after he finished praying. So I just slammed the computer down and went to bed because it was all gone. Anxiety was gone.
I love that. And in your testimony, you said it felt like when Mark was praying, it felt like water.
Yes.
Just wash all the anxiety away, I can imagine.
Just coming down.
Yep. Oh man, this is good. I'm telling you guys, I'm trying to get you to take this in, because okay, so already you're overcoming things. Okay, you've been through the second process. You drive to an entirely different state in order to take your exam. You do it during the polar vortex when it's like -15 outside.
Yes.
You're up in New York, and New York is so cold. It's so cold. I told Mark, I don't want to be in New York before April because it's too crazy up there with the weather. So you wake up, it's test day. You wake up on test day.
So everyone in the house that I was staying had to go to work. So they left out about 5 o'clock because there was a lot of snow and it was cold. So I was by myself. So I got out of the bed about 5:45 and, took a quick shower, make something to eat. So I decided about 20 minutes to 7, because I test at 8, I'm going to go outside and start the car up and let it warm up, because this time it was -2. So went outside, and this is where it started. The key would not go in the ignition for nothing. The key wouldn't go in the ignition. I did everything. I turned the steering. I did everything. I tried to warm it up. The neighbor, he came out and he came over and he tried, and we tried for 20 minutes. And the key would not go in.
I mean, I can't even imagine your anxiety level when you go to get in your car to test for NCLEX and you can't get the key in the ignition. I mean, talk about a stressor on test date.
And I didn't know anybody else there to call to say, hey, can you take me? Because the people I knew, they were all at work.
Oh
So it was 7 o'clock now and I tested 8. So he's saying, you got to wait till later on today. I said, no, I tested in an hour. So I went back in the house and this is when I said, okay, let me try the Uber because I've never used Uber. So I had to download the Uber app and order my Uber. And they told me my driver will be there by 20 after 7. I said, well, yeah, that would give me enough time because I hate to be late for anything. That would give me enough time to get there. But went downstairs 7:20, no Uber. 7:25, no Uber. 7:30, there was no Uber. 7:35, I said, I better start walking.
Oh, listen, I'm telling you, girl, when I was listening to your testimony last night, I had my blanket, I had some brownies, I had some lemonade. I was like, I don't know where this is going. Literally, but let me tell you something. You're a quick thinker. I'm telling you, you are a quick thinker and you weren't letting anything get in your way that morning. I'm telling you. So the Uber didn't show up. It's 7:35. You test at 8 o'clock.
Yes.
What you start doing?
I got out and I decided I'm going to walk. It's -2. And the sidewalks were all piled up with snow. So I said, I'm going to have to walk in the street, but I have to get there. If I have to run half the way and walk the other half, I'm getting there today. So when I got out in the street, I saw this car down the street at another house. So I started waving like, hey, I said, I wonder if that's the driver went to the wrong house. Which was the driver went to the wrong house. He was late, but he was so late that he went to the wrong house. So he came and I got in the car. I said, good morning. He didn't respond. I said, how are you? He didn't respond. He grumbled. He started saying some really rude, mean stuff to me. And I just laughed. I said, the devil is a lie. I'm going to take my exam today. You know, he tried everything. He tried my car. That didn't work. You know, so I decided to walk, but the Uber showed up. So I got to the exam and I had to literally run out the car to get in the building. And when I got there, it was late. So I hurry up and the lady was doing somebody's fingerprint. So I hurry up and grabbed a number. And when she got done, she was saying stuff like, you know, it's after 8, you know, nobody else is going to be tested and all that stuff. So I showed her, I said, I have a number. So she took my number because I already had it. I know, because she didn't see me when I came in because a young lady was standing in front of her doing her fingerprint, but I already had my number. So she took it. Yes.
Listen, so she took it. Okay, so when you sat in front of that test, you had been through such a crazy morning.
Yes.
Like literally, did you have to calm yourself down? Did you have to or were you just like, I'm so happy I'm here. Like I made it.
Yeah, while I was sitting out there waiting because we had to go back one by one, I had to like close my eyes and said, okay, Lord, I made it. You know, I went through all that and I didn't quit and I didn't give up and it must be for a reason. So here I am.
Yes. You had a purpose and the devil really tried it. He tried it with you because if you were a lesser woman, you would have been still at home crying, waiting for somebody to come get you. But you took on the mindset that this is my goal. I have to own this. I'm the one that has to make sure I get there. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you're testing. How is it when you're testing? How do you feel? Are you like, are you jittery, freaking out? Are you just in there?
I was in there. I was in there. I was seeing the content from the DVD packages keep coming up and I'm like, content all the way. And man, I select all that apply. They just keep hitting me.
Yeah.
They just keep coming and coming and coming. And at one point I almost screamed out loud and I said, I had to catch myself because I'm like, they were just coming back and forth. And I told myself, I said, if this computer doesn't shut off at 75, I'm going to take a break. So it didn't shut off at 75. So I took a break, came back. I was feeling much better after I got back. And it shut off right after I got back. It shut off at 97. And believe me, it was like 50 of those questions were select all that apply.
Wow.
But I had to sit there before I could answer the select all apply. I said, what did Regina say? How did she say we're supposed to answer these select all that apply? So I had to write it on the board, make them true and false before I could answer them. But I got so much. I said, am I failing? Why I'm getting so much? But I did it. I came out. And the weirdest things that happened when I went downstairs, when I went downstairs, I was there like, okay, should I call Uber again? Because I had such a bad first experience, or should I walk it home? And just then, two ladies walk up to me. It was a mother and daughter, and they asked me if do I know where they take the NCLEX, and I directed them. So they went upstairs, but then the mother, she came right back. And I'm not from Buffalo. I'm not from New York. I've never seen these people before. But she just came right back, and she was just walking up to me. And I'm looking at her like, okay. And she just walked up and opened her arms and give me a big hug. And she starts squeezing me. And I'm like, okay. And she backed away and she said, well, God tell me to tell you, he got you. It's already done. It's finished. Go home and celebrate. I said, what? She said, didn't you do an exam today? You just did. And you told him it's in his hands now. So it's in his hands. Let it go. And I'm like, okay, I've never seen. She said, you don't know me. And I still don't know this lady's name.
Girl, you know what the Bible said? You know the Bible said that could have been an angel. Girl,
yes.
God is good. How you going to have a stranger come up to you and say, God got this for you? God
and gave me a hug. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, I don't even know her name today because I was in such a shock. I forgot to ask her name.
Wow. So you've taken the test, you go home. When do you find out that you actually passed? Like, what were you doing? How did you feel after, like, what a morning? I know you probably felt 100 pounds lighter that you even got to the exam and that it was over.
Yeah, so I went home and I said, well, it's already done. And God said he got me, so I'm just going to give it to him and go to bed. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to take it back up because I already gave it to him. So I'm just leave it right there with him and I'm going to bed tonight. I'm not going to worry about it. So it was about the Sunday I was on the study group, the Remar study group, and a young lady came on and she was saying, she tested the same day I tested, the same time. I don't know which state she's in. She tested that Friday at 8 o'clock and her computer shut off at 97. And I said to her, mine too. I tested Friday, 8 o'clock. And she said to me, I passed. Did you pass? I said, I passed. I haven't even checked yet, but I said, I'm believing in my heart that I pass. You know, this has to be confirmation. That's what I said. So the next day I went on the study group again, and this one young lady was saying she tested Saturday, and Pearson View told her she had to wait till Tuesday to get her result. I said, well, I tested Friday. So I went on that Monday and I paid the $7 to Pearson View and he came up passed. I was so excited. Like I said, I just throw some clothes on and run out the house. I didn't know where I was going, but I was just too excited. I was like, thank you, Lord.
Imagine your excitement finding out that you have passed.
Yes.
After all of that. And you know what you do now, I used to do the electronic computerized charting implementation. So I did it for Epic, and I would go to hospitals and help the nurses transition into Epic. Yeah.
Right. I'm glad you said that because I've been doing that since 2011 and I've done training both for doctors and nurses, support, implementation for Epic, Allscript, Meditech, Cerner. And I applied for different positions as an analyst, you know, at different hospitals, at least 5 hospitals in Ohio between Cleveland and Akron that I interviewed. And they all like the fact that I have all that experience, you know, with EMR, but I didn't get the job because I didn't have the nursing license.
So now you have all these new opportunities. These new opportunities. So what do you see yourself doing? What do you see yourself like now? Tell me, what's the next thing for you?
Well, there's 2 things. Is, you know, getting a nursing job and going back for my BSN because I have an associate degree nursing. So I've already started in both, applying for work and applied at different online universities. As a matter of fact, I just applied to Ohio University to do my BSN. So going
Nice.
from here.
Nice. So you have all these new opportunities now. You have all these new opportunities now that you have passed your NCLEX exam. Can I get you to speak to somebody asked, are you Jamaican?
Yes, I am Jamaican. I was born in St. Elizabeth, Jamaica.
Okay. So I just need Jalon. Okay. So can you speak to the nurse that has failed three times and maybe are considering whether or not to purchase Remar Review?
So I will tell them, everybody, don't give up. Remar, first of all, don't get confused by studying multiple. Everybody's different, I know that, but multiple different programs, reviews can get you confused. So if you're going to stick with a program that will help you, give you the content you need, I would say stick with Remar, because I've been out of school since 2013, and I never thought that a DVD self-study program would help me, and it did. It did help me, and I know it can help you also. So it's just studying the content, make the time to study. Make the time to study. Don't be comfortable with your situation. If you're comfortable with your situation, then one of my coworkers said, "Are you hungry?" I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "When a person is real hungry, you know what they do? They do whatever it takes to get food. So if you get real hungry, then you do whatever it takes to pass." She said, "If you're hungry for your nursing license, then you will do whatever it takes to get you that nursing license." So I couldn't get comfortable anymore.
I got you. Can you talk about the investment, the additional investment? Because you said it took you like $1,500 already that you had spent. So Can you talk about nurses who maybe have already invested in a lot and they're just trying to do it with free resources? They're just trying to do it, piecing stuff together from YouTube or Facebook Lives or something like that.
You know what? I would say it's important for you to. Hello?
Go. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
You keep going. Yep.
Okay, so I would say it's important for you to invest in Remar, because I've known people who said, "I will not spend another dime on a review program or review class." And at one point I was feeling that way, like I'm spending all this money. My first review class was $500. My second one was $500. Then I spent another $500 to retake. Then somebody told me $3,000. So, and there were people who were willing to find that $3,000 to do it. And I said, it didn't take $3,000. It took me $200 and something, and I passed. So I said, I know you might spend a lot of money, but this is worth it, because it is worth it.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's one of the barriers that nursing students have. Is just that you've already spent so much with nursing school, and you've already invested so much time with your clinicals and your books and your scrubs that you feel like this test shouldn't be that big of a deal. Like you should be able to just go in there and pass it, but it's not always the case. Like everybody's journey is different when it comes to this test. But the thing about it is you can't compare what another person has done to your story, because you had so many opportunities to say, you know what, this is not for me. I failed it. I'm listening to what other people are telling me, but I have to do this for my own self. So for you, that like you said, $260 something was worth it. Like,
yes.
Because now you have the ability to make how much money,
Right. Lots of opportunities and make money for a better life. And you know what? I have seen people I know on the study group, the Remar study group, people I knew, I'm like, oh, they're on here too. And they refused to buy the self-study package because they did not want to spend the money. And I've known people who took the test 2 weeks before I did, who refused. All they did was came on your 7 days of NCLEX. And people kept saying, get the self-study program. They're like, no, I'm not spending that money. And they took it and they failed. And I said, I invested the money. And they're like, you passed? I'm like, yes, because I invested the money, the 200. I said, it's worth it. And I said, I'll make it back and some anyway. So. Not hearing you.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So people are getting on and they're congratulating you and they're just thanking you for your testimony. But I really needed people to understand today, like the journey to getting your nursing license is not easy. It's not easy, even up until the test date. Like you have to have a mental fortitude to go through the journey, because who would have imagined your testing date would be so unbelievable? Like literally, it was unbelievable. Somebody says, you're giving hope. I graduated in 1999, an international nurse. Wow. Yeah. So really investing in yourself is so key to being able to find success. So speak to my nurses in Jamaica. We have the Nurse Success Summit in Jamaica. A lot of nurses in Jamaica want to try for NCLEX, but they don't even know. Like they don't even know where to begin, where to get started. Like what would you say to them?
I would say because the way we test in Jamaica is different from how the NCLEX tests. So our testing, the testing strategies are totally different. Yeah. So I would advise them to get the program and practice on the question bank that you have, the REMAR question bank, so they can get familiar with how NCLEX tests.
Yes.
Because before it was a totally different way of testing. And now I learned how to practice, the way NCLEX think and the way they ask the questions because before in nursing school, I was reading too much into the questions and I was answering the wrong thing. Not that I didn't know the content, it's just I was reading, into the question too much because of how the way I know how to test. So if they, get the program from REMAR and study the content and practice those questions from the question bank, they'll be able to pass.
What would you say to someone who says, I don't have the money to invest in myself? Somebody says, I don't have the money to invest in myself.
When I gave myself this birthday gift, it was my light bill, my gas bill, money I spent and gave myself this birthday gift. Wow. So I was willing to let the light cut off and the gas cut off because I wanted to make that sacrifice. So I didn't have the money, laying aside to buy the package. I didn't. But I said, well, I need to invest in myself. So I used my light bill and my gas bill money and do it because I said, well, down the road when I pass, I can get a nursing job and I can pay my light bill. I don't have to worry about it. So I would say to them, make a sacrifice some way. If you have to borrow it and pay it back later, do it because it's worth it.
And you know what? I think that there's something in that too. When you actually have to sacrifice to obtain something, you're willing to go above and beyond to get that thing. Like you sacrifice your utility money in order to secure products to help you. And so what that means is that you just didn't put those books down and let them sit for 6 months. You didn't just, say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. You said, no, I'm doing this today because literally, my utilities, my rent, everything depends on this nursing license. And nursing students have to get that mindset when it comes to studying, especially if you've been out of school for a long time. I mean, talk about not getting I want you to talk about not getting comfortable where you are without your nursing license because of the dangers of that. Like, talk to them about that.
You know what? Mostly when I'm not doing EMR, because the EMR is just seasonal, it's not every day. So I was doing home care, and I had to look in the mirror at myself and says, I have a nursing diploma. And yet here I am working I have nothing against STNA or home care aides, because I've been an STNA. I have nothing against it. But I'm looking in the mirror and said, I'm working here as a home care aide with a nursing diploma, making minimum wage, working from paycheck to paycheck when I can do better. So I said, I had to look at myself and say, no, I can't, there is no way I can get comfortable living like this for the rest of my life, paycheck to paycheck, work as a nursing care aide, when I can study and get a nursing license and make more money and save money. I don't have to work from paycheck to paycheck. So, I decided I'm no longer going to be comfortable with that. I'm no longer, that's not the life. I said, as a matter of fact, God says it is his will that I prosper. And I need to, to do better. And like I said, I have nothing against nursing aides or home care aides. They're wonderful people. But I said, going through nursing school and have to be doing this? No, there's no way I can be comfortable like this. So, I said, I'm not going to crawl in the bed anymore and go to sleep and be comfortable. I'm going to make it my life uncomfortable until I get this nursing license. So I said, if I have to sleep here on the floor, sleep in the sofa with the books beside me, and I sacrifice sleep because I only was getting 3 hours of sleep.
Yep. I think one of the biggest sacrifices that we have to get out of is the comforts of sleep. Like, you don't have time to sleep if you don't have your nursing license. You don't have time. You don't have time to relax. You don't have time to go to the movies. You literally are wasting moments that you could be making money as a nurse, helping people, being in the ministry that you were educated in. And so I kind of feel like this is tough love for everybody out there that's watching, because I want them to understand, like, if you're comfortable in a situation, you will stay there.
Right.
You won't ever leave it. And nobody around you is going to push you to get out of your comfort zone. Nobody's going to do it. People will watch you. Yes. People will watch you be a nurse's aide or a cashier or in housekeeping at a hotel. I mean, I have Remar nurses working all those places, right? They will watch you do that for years after you finish nursing school. So you really have to get it in yourself that this is something that I can't get comfortable with. Like, it really is. Mm-hmm.
I would tell them, you know what, go take a ride down to a hospital and sit out there or a nursing home and look at these nurses going inside in their uniforms, going to work, and just imagine that's going to be you one day. Just get jealous of seeing all those nurses going into work in their uniform. Just walk in a hospital one day. Go to the front desk and just stand there or just sit in the lobby of a hospital or a nursing home and look at all those nurses at work and just think that could be me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a question for you. A Remar nurse says, how did you know that you were ready to test? How many percents on practice tests did you do before you decided to take the RN? So just asking you, how did you know you were ready to test?
Well, like I said, I went through the whole package 3 times. And like the last time I said, the second time I said, anything I don't know, it's going to be my Bible. I'm going to write it on a flashcard. So when I studied that, and the third time I went through the package and I was getting everything right, when we would come on to like 7 days of NCLEX, and you would ask all those questions from Quick Facts, and I was getting like 19 out of 20 right. I was getting 18 out of 20, and I would quiz myself with the Quick Facts DVD, and I was getting almost all the answers correct. I said, I know I'm ready. Then I started doing the question from the question banks, and I was getting most of them correct. Then I said, it's time. I'm not going to wait any longer. It's time.
Oh my goodness. So yes, that's the way you do it. That's the way you do it. You got to study the content first and then do the questions.
Right.
Study the content first and then do the questions. Talk to students right now who are believing the myths out there. Talk to them about the myths of NCLEX.
Oh my goodness, there is so many myths. Do not believe the myth that the test is easier in one state compared to another state. It's the same exam across the board. That's a myth that is easier in New York or Florida or California or somewhere else. It's the same test across the board. And even Canada, they're getting the same test like, we're getting right now across the board. So that's a myth. Don't listen to that. And I would say the tricks that some review program would tell you, some program teach you tricks rather than content. And I wouldn't say 90% of the time the tricks don't work. So if you know the content, you won't have to worry about those tricks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What about the test getting easier every time you take it? What would you say to that?
I would say it didn't get easy until I studied REMAR. It didn't get easy until I studied REMAR and took it that last time and passed. It was the same hard exam to me the first 3 times I failed, but it was easier because this time, the way the content is broken down in the REMAR, in the package, it makes it easier for me to learn and easier for me to remember these content and to keep going. And that's when the tests get easier. When you study with REMAR, with the self-study package, and you know that content, then it will get easier.
Yes. Okay, so Deborah said, what advice would you have someone testing on Wednesday? So next Wednesday, what advice would you give that person?
Okay, so first you have to have a positive attitude. Don't be negative, just be positive, have faith. Make sure you know your content the day before, the evening before the exam. Don't study or bust, your brain. Going in knowing you don't know everything. You don't know everything because that will get you discouraged. So no, you don't know everything. Once you know the content, just have a positive attitude and just have faith and just relax like the day before, just relax.
Okay, so you got a couple questions here. So Tope says, so when you talk about content, you mean everything in the Quick Facts book?
The homework book, all the books from the DVD package, not just Quick Facts, because I know people who started with Quick Facts and fail. So not just Quick Facts. There's a homework book. There are like 4 books.
Okay, hold on. So Hope says, I have the Quick Facts and the Advanced DVD. The Quick Facts Advanced Study DVD. Do you think that is enough, or I need the package?
You need the package. I would say get the package.
Okay. Deborah says, thank you this morning. I think that's really good advice. You do have to have a positive mindset. And the day before the exam, you shouldn't be studying anything. Like, honestly, whatever you don't know the day before the exam, you just won't know. Right. So you need to just go in there and take that test like a man. Like, whatever happens, you just got to be ready for it. But if you have a positive mindset going into the test, it will help you have a positive mindset even during the test, because you really have to not let the whole idea of the exam is to try to distract you, try to trick you, try to see how you act under pressure. Right. And a lot of nurses, they underestimate that. They underestimate the mental, and that's what I love about your story, is because 90% of it is mental. Like, are you mentally tough enough to go in there and endure the rapid questions? Because the questions just keep coming. Like, as long as you're sitting in front of the test, it will give you questions. It will give you questions. And so you have to be able to be in a mindset where you're like, whatever it takes. I didn't come this far to leave without a license. Right. So, woo. Okay.
And always remember the way, I would say to Deborah, whoever asked a question about testing Wednesday, always remember the way Regina taught you how to answer the select all that applies, because you're going to get them. And those are not fun. But if you do like Regina said, make each answer selection true or false, then you will get through it. Because I got 50 out of 97.
Exactly. And I kind of expect that too for the REMAR nurses, because you know the content so well. all the exam can do is really give you select all that apply to make it a challenge, because
Yes.
the Remar nurses was like, that test was too easy, because when you understand the content, you can answer any kind of question they give. I mean, they can, spin it around a million different times, but if you know diabetes, you know diabetes, and it don't matter if it's a draw a picture of it, fill in the blank, connect the dots, you can do it. So,
I did it. And you know what? I didn't get any math question because I was prepared for math. I didn't get any math question. I didn't get any EKG. I didn't get any respiratory, none of that. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I was ready for those, but they just keep giving me all these select, all that apply. But I was ready with the content. So they challenged me and I overcame.
Yes, you did. And you only had 95 questions too. So you must have been really doing really well on those select all that apply questions. The exam is not going to give you easy questions. It knows exactly where you are. So the things that we're prepared for, they're going to say, no, you already know that. You already know that. So the testimony. So, okay, here's one. And I want you to try to be as honest as possible. How would you advise someone who did the self-study program in QuickFacts and failed?
I don't know if they had the 5-star, because for one, before I even go further, the drug names, you have to know the generic names. So that's changed. So I don't know if they have the 5-star, to know that. So, because I got a lot of drugs in my select all apply. But anyway, I would say study again, because I could have taken the test before I did. I could have taken the test probably in January or December, but I test myself. I went over the whole package and say, what I don't know, I'm going to study, because I need to know everything in these books from the first page to the last page. I would say, do it again, study again, and make sure you know everything in all of the books, because what you won't remember from the QuickFacts, the homework book, or the other books, they will, refresh you. So I would say study again and do it again.
Yep. I think like that Sandra says, got it and passed. Self-study. And I get that too a lot. When somebody tells me that they have purchased the self-study program in QuickFacts and still failed, one of the first things I ask is, did you complete it all? Did you have it memorized? Because literally the components of the program all work together. So if you didn't spend a lot of time with the homework, or if you didn't spend a lot of time with the practice exam, then there's probably information that you missed.
Yes.
So I would say go back and really make sure that you had all the QuickFacts memorized, because the program, as simple as it is presented, it's not a one-time through program. Like it, like you said, you did it 3 times, you did it 2 times. And that's kind of what needs to be done depending where you are. I mean, I know people that did it like 6 times, really. Okay. But you know exactly what you need. Like Nurse Shawnee, she is speaking based on her own experience. Her experience is different, from yours. Her journey is different. She was able to go to work and study and put all of her attention on studying, in her free time. Some of you guys are not working at all and you're at home, but you're a mother of, 4 kids. So your experience is going to look a lot different, but the materials are the same. Okay. The materials are the same. So, let's see here. Got it. Okay. Okay, so I'm not going to keep you. I'm just trying to field the questions. People are just thanking you. Your testimony is amazing. Somebody's saying go back to anatomy and pathology. When you were studying, did you find that you had to research a lot of things because you had been out of school for so long, or did you really focus on really what was in the package there?
Well, my main focus was on the package, but each time we would come on Monday Motivation or Let's Talk NCLEX, and there comes something that we don't know, you always say, what do I say? Go look it up.
Yes.
So I always go look it up. If I'm doing a question in the from the question bank, and there's a word or there's a term that I don't know, I would go look it up. So I really didn't go back and study anything else besides the package. It's just that something comes up and I don't know what it means or I don't know what it is, then I go look it up.
Talk about somebody asked, how did you learn drugs? How did you learn drugs?
How did I learn drugs? I kind of had to practice it. I kind of wrote them out on flashcards in alphabetical order.
Okay.
And I did them first. I did it by categories, the different drug classes and categories. Then I do the alphabetical order, and that's how I studied it at church sometimes.
I know. When you said you were at church studying that stuff, I said, "Oh my goodness!" You should have heard me. I was screaming to Mark listening to your testimony. It was so good. I was just like, "Oh my goodness, this is too good, too good." Okay, how important was Monday Motivation? Let's talk NCLEX for you during your journey.
Very important, because during my study, sometimes I'm tired because I work all night, 12 hours, and I'm tired. And I want to stop studying and I want to just give up. But going on Monday Motivation every Monday, it gives me another push not to give up. It literally gives me another push. And I always learn something. There's always something I have to go look up. There's always a question that I don't know. So I always learn something from Monday Motivation.
Thank you so much. Thank you for watching that Monday Motivation.
It is important, y'all.
Thank you. Thank you for teaching today. And I guess, so what does it mean now to you to be a Remar nurse?
To be official. Oh, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful feeling. I my friends on Facebook, like, you keep saying Remar, you are a Remar nurse, what it is. I keep telling them, and I said, tell somebody else, in your state about Remar. So they're asking this question, and I said, if you know anyone who's going to nursing school in your state, just tell them about Remar. Go on Facebook and look it up. So it's feel wonderful to be a Remar nurse.
Yes. And you have a new life ahead of you, a new future. So I just want to thank you, because you're a busy RN now. And you took time out to chat with us today on Friday. And so I just appreciate you. Mark and I really appreciate you taking the time. You spoke with Mark yesterday. And so we just want to thank you so much for coming on here. This was an amazing motivation. And, as I prepare for Jamaica and to meet all these nurses that are going to be trying to get to where you are, I can just encourage them. Based off the things that I've learned from you. So I really appreciate your time.
And I really thank you guys for the work that you do. I thank you and Mark for the hard work you put in and for the passion you guys have for what you do. And I think it's a godsend.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Well, guys, so I hope you really enjoyed this Remar Nurse Spotlight. Nurse Shawnee. Why is it Shawnee?
Well, my friends call me because, I have an older sister. My parents wanted a boy and they loved the name. So when I was born, hey, a girl, they kept the name, and I got teased all my life, and that driver, my Uber driver, one of the reasons he was so grumpy towards me was because he thought I was a male dressed like a female. And he didn't like that because he saw the name Sean, so he thought it was a guy. So my friends all call me Shawnee. So I said, okay, I'll keep that. And after I passed my exam, my friend Tanya bought me a bracelet that says Sean Cole RN.
Nice. Congratulations. That's beautiful.
Thanks.
That's beautiful. Thanks. Okay. Well,
congratulations, Sean.
Thank you, Mark.
Absolutely. We are just excited, and I'm like, man, you guys been talking for an hour.
I know.
Lots to talk about.
God is good. There's so much to talk about. God is so good. That's awesome and amazing. One thing that you mentioned earlier, you talked about paying it forward and then also having us to be able to help you in that process of selecting somebody. And so on Monday, when Regina comes on, I don't know the time yet because we will be in the beautiful island of Jamaica.
Yay!
When we come on, we're doing every week where we're helping somebody, we're paying for boards. And since you're joining us in that, we're going to have 2 names to announce for Monday. All right. So the second person is going to be your person, and Regina's going to take the first one, and we're just going to do it that way, and double things and multiple blessings, and just as a recognition for what God is doing for us, and so we can pay it forward to somebody else and be a blessing as well.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So, okay, Remar nurses, thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to head off now. The next time you see me, we will be in Jamaica. So stay tuned for the wonderful happenings that will be a part of the Nurse Success Summit. Thank you guys so much for spending time with us. Thank you to our newest Remar nurse, Nurse Shawnee Cole. We appreciate your awesome testimony, reminding us that even up until the test date, to be ready to grind it out. So thank you, Remar nurses. We love you guys, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.